Hi friends, hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Martyna and welcome to another day of CRAFTMAS. So today we are continuing on the project that we started 2 days ago, which is making a junk journal out of packaging. And last time, and I will have this video linked for you guys below if you haven't seen it yet, but last time we made the collaged cover using a cardboard box in my case. And so today we are continuing with this project, and I am going to be making the signatures, so choosing papers, creating the signatures, binding them, and also adding some charms or some beads to the spine of the journal to just make it pretty. And then I believe the next video, or one of the next videos, when we continue with this project, we are going to start making some ephemera to fill the journal. And because I want this to be a From Trash to Treasure project, I am going to be using some packaging, probably some plastic packaging, maybe some cardboard again, to create ephemera. But today we are focusing on the papers, which is honestly one of my favorite parts of making a journal. So here you guys can see that I am using these, so Tim Holtz paper pads. They have those weird little papers at the back of each paper pad, which are just miniature versions of the 12 by 12 papers. And so I am using some of those, which I believe they are 8 by 8, and I am using a couple of them, folding them in half, and then you guys saw me tear the edges because I don't know, I love the torn, like hand torn edge aesthetic, but I also just wanted to make them smaller because they wouldn't fit. So I tore the edge, and now I am going to do the same thing with some of the other papers. And so I am using some Italian straw paper. I am using coffee paper. I love this paper so much that I am tearing right now with the lace imprint. I think it turned out so pretty. And so I chose some really fun papers. I am again making this journal as a gift. This is going to be a gift for the second Patreon giveaway this year. I am going to be choosing a random winner out of my giveaway tier patrons soon. So I'm making this journal, and I really want it to be nice. So I'm using some of my favorite papers. This here is a Polish book with medicinal herbs and flowers, I believe, and I love it so much. I don't use it enough. And what else? I have a bird book. I have a with some illustrations, and I also used a book page with just text, which I also really like because you can use it for so many different things. You can cover it with a pocket, you can gesso it with and then journal on it. So yeah, I like a good mixture of papers, and so I am making sure that I have some blank pages, some decorated pages, I have some patterned papers, book pages. And basically my goal is to create as much interest with just the paper alone as possible. So what I'm paying attention to is that all of these papers that you guys see here, I have some actual vintage ledger. This is some printables that I printed on very thin copy paper, and these are some notebook pages. I think they are both dotted. I don't think the camera is picking it up, and then I'm going through some scraps, but basically my idea is that I really just want to have a nice mixture. Oh yeah, I remember, I will pick a vellum piece from the scraps box. So yes, I am trying to have as much variety with my papers as possible, and I mean both in the type of paper but also in like the tactile feel of it, in the texture, in the thickness, and then I try to kind of evenly distribute them in my signatures. So here I decided that I really wanted to distress some of those torn edges. So that's what I'm doing with my Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo from Tim Holtz. This is again, I really wanted to be like a Tim Holtz themed journal. So I have some Tim Holtz on the cover, inside and out. I have some Tim Holtz within the papers, and then I'm going to be using more of his papers and ephemera when decorating the journal in the next episode of this mini series. So yeah, just inking around, which is in itself a very relaxing thing to do. And here, super speedy, in just a moment, you guys will see me create the signatures, and I will give you guys a flip through in a much in a much slower pace in a moment. But basically what I'm doing, I am making sure that I don't have two of the same type of paper next to each other. I am matching and mixing all the types of papers, but also the sizes. I like having like smaller pieces of paper with some bigger pieces. It creates really nice layers. So I'm going for like both the tactile aspect and also visually. I just want them to look nice. And yeah, so this is here how my signatures turned out, and I decided to go with 3 signatures for this small journal. I don't know, do I have it here somewhere? Let me see. I don't know how large my spine was. I think it's about maybe 2 inches, could it be, or maybe a little bit more, something like that. So I have 3 signatures for this one, and I am going to be binding them in a moment using a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And so just when I am flipping through for the 3-hole pamphlet stitch for the binding of the journal, we are going to be using a twine. I am using linen twine. We're going to need an awl, which is a pokey tool, to poke some holes in our signatures and in our spine, or journal spine, not ours, hopefully. Then we are going to need a needle, and I think that's it. And I am starting with making a little template for myself. So I am taking the measurements of my spine, and I am going to be using a graph paper to create a template for binding. And I am doing this because because this journal is not for myself, I really want all the holes to be even, the binding to be even. And I want it to be durable, since this is going to be a gift. So, and I also like to use graph paper because you have some guidelines with those lines on the paper. So I'm folding it in half along the longer edge, along this smaller edge, and then I'm going to fold it in half yet again to have it divided into thirds. And this will give me guidelines for where I want to poke my holes. And then I'm going to use a pencil, like I'm doing here, to mark all of the 3 signatures, guidelines for the 3 signatures that I have. And so I'm going to be using it for both the spine and also the signatures themselves. So now I am using this very old, very destroyed book as my, like, to protect my desk. And yeah, I'm just going to poke the holes where I have my markings. Now I am holding the template in place, but you could also use some washi tape to keep it in place so that it doesn't move. It's really important at this point that it just doesn't move and all your holes are exactly where your markings are. And yeah, I'm going to get to binding now, and for some reason I always start with the last signature. I don't know why, but yeah, it's just a force of habit, I suppose. You can start with the first as well. So I am making sure all of my papers are where I want them, clipping them together. to help me when I am doing the binding. And now I am using the exact same template and the kind of the middle holes or middle markings to make holes in my signatures. And this way I have the holes in the signatures in the exact places and spacing that my spine is. So yeah, and then I'm going to be using this white or cream twine that you guys can see on the left here, and I think I used about 4 lengths of my signature, so quite a lot, definitely more than you need, but I am doing this because I want long ends of those strings to be there so that I can add some beads to them. And also I'm going to be doing something different today, something that I don't usually do. So with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, I usually start from the inside, so from the signature, but here you can see me going in from the outside, and you guys will see in a moment why. But yeah, I start with the middle hole, and I make sure that I have a lot of the string still there, and then going through the signature. And at this point of doing this, I don't make sure that anything is tight at all. I will make sure that everything is nice and tight in a moment. So then up to the top hole, through the signature and through the spine, and then we will go all the way down to the bottom hole. So I am doing basically the same thing that I am doing every single time I make the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, just starting from the outside, which means that my strings are going to be left outside and no, not inside as they usually are, and then back through the bottom hole, through the spine, and then I am going to double knot the strings on the outside here, and of course first make sure that everything is tight, that my signature isn't loose. This is the moment to do it. This is the moment where you want to pull those strings and make sure that your signature just sits tightly in. Also, depending on what types of papers you use, make sure you don't use too much force with this, because you can tear through the paper with this string. But yeah, as you can see, I have a lot of the string left on the outside here. And this is kind of what I was going for, because I then want to add some beads to it to decorate it, and I want the beads to be, well, you guys will see, but I want them to be kind of below the cover, so that they, when you are using the journal, they are on the bottom or on the top, and they don't like get in the way of your journaling and of the cover. So now I'm going to do the same thing, I think off camera, yeah, for all of the 3 signatures, and yeah, this is again one of my favorite parts where all of my papers are bound. I love the torn edges so much, and I am really enjoying this cute little project. And I hope whoever receives it as the giveaway prize will also like it. And yeah, so now I'm going to be using some beads to decorate those strings. And first I am picking some beads that I want to use, and I went with neutral colors, which basically for me means a lot of gold, a little bit of white, cream, silver, and if I remember correctly, let me look, I have this journal right here. Yeah, I have a pink bead as well, and I have a couple of like minty green or minty blue ones, very light and pastel, and I think these colors go really well with the colors that we already have on the cover. And so here you can see that I am like going, how do I say it in English? I'm going slightly lower from where my cover ends. Yeah, you will see it in a moment. I think sometimes it's easier to just see. Definitely, it's easier for me to show you guys than to tell you how I'm doing things. But here is what this little charm looks like, and as you can see, I can pull it all the way up, all down, of course, and it doesn't get in a way. For some reason, I've hidden it here for this flip through. But yeah, it doesn't get in your way when journaling. So I hope you guys are enjoying this little mini series within CRAFTMAS. I am definitely having a lot of fun with this project, and like I said, next time we will get more in a vein of From Trash to Treasure by doing some ephemera with an actual like packaging, and then using some Tim Holtz stuff to also stay in theme with Tim Holtz. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being with me through CRAFTMAS. I am really very much enjoying filming these videos for you guys, and yeah, just being able to thank you for the whole year of being with me here over on YouTube by doing something extra in this last month of the year. So yeah, the flip through here is coming to an end, and yeah, I will see you guys very soon in today's in the next CRAFTMAS video. So yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day, have a wonderful week, and see you soon, very soon. Bye!